everyone. Welcome back. Christian Sharif, bestboxingbets.com. Hey, we have a fascinating battle happening out in Stuttgart, Germany in the middleweight division. What we have is Darren Barker from England showing that he is tough in the tradition of Carl Froch, ducking no one. He's going against Felix Sturm. Now, 11 years ago in the game, Oscar De La Hoya was trying to take on Bernard Hopkins for the middleweight championship of the world. He was expected to dominate a young up-and-coming German fighter named Felix Sturm. Most people believe that Felix Sturm's close but unanimous decision victory over De La Hoya was assured. Scorecards didn't reveal that. Now, over a decade later, Sturm's being protected. Why? He's the European champion. 10 years ago, we had three middleweights who were at the top. After beating Bernard Hopkins legitimately at least 1 out of 2 times, Jermaine Taylor was at the top of the division, closely followed by the other two men that any one of them would have had to beat to be considered the same type of champion that Hopkins was. One was Arthur Abraham. He went up to 168 and gave his best in fighting the best that division had to offer to see where he stood. Only Felix Sturm decided to stay home. He has never challenged for a world championship. He's had titles, but he's never gone for all the marbles. This late in his career, I'm wondering if he's ever going to go for the undisputed middleweight championship of the world. Enter Darren Barker. Darren Barker is an English fighter. Gave Sergio Martinez all he could handle and recently outpointed Australia's Daniel Gill in a close row. Now look, these guys look like carbon copies of each other, but there are some differences. Let me explain what they are. Daniel Gill has shown himself to be a top middleweight, and I think he'll probably receive another fight against the winner. But when we talk about Barker, we're talking about a boxer that is wearing the clothes of a fighter. He looks like a fighter, but he is actually a boxer. On the other hand, Sturm, he looks like he's a boxer, but if you look at his footwork pattern, the way he takes his back foot, moves it to the front, and sets up so he can position with power, even though he doesn't have devastating offensive capabilities, he has a full arsenal of punches, and he steps up so he looks like a boxer, but he's in fact a fighter. This should match up pretty well for both guys who seem pretty physically evenly matched. Now, what we have is a protected entity in Felix Sturm. When Felix Sturm lost to Sam Soliman, he was sharp. I thought he might be flat after losing to Gill. He wasn't. He was sharp, but the exceedingly unorthodox and exceedingly entertaining Sam Soliman narrowly outpointed him. Well, I'm sure that it was not expected by the judges for this to happen. No arrangements were made, obviously, to protect the German fighter. In fact, it was such an unexpected thing that you would have Soliman in Sturm's backyard be given the decision that the normally unflappable Michael Buffer announced the wrong fighter winning at first and had to change it in the ring. Embarrassing for him, massive surprise for everyone else. Later, to protect Sturm, they said Soliman had failed a post-fight drug test. Soliman said, "I did not. I want you to test the other samples." Now folks, my dad's a doctor, and he's told me that at least 30% of the initial tests are wrong. No matter what they say, they try to make it sound like it's a sure thing. They're wrong, so they split them in two. You have sample A and you have sample B. Now, what Soliman did is he said, "You're making this up. I did not cheat. I did not use it. I want that second sample and I want an independent lab to test it." And the German authorities said no. They would not allow independent testing. And yet, they ruled about a no contest, put Sturm back in position, and a suspension has gone on for Sam Soliman. Soliman won that fight, and they just frankly screwed him. He's been robbed. And so Sturm has that loss on his record. If you ever get a chance to watch a Sam Soliman fight, do so. He is the most unorthodox fighter in the world. So you have these two guys going back together. Although Barker is brave to go in the lion's den, and although Sturm has not really shown any deterioration, although people have adjusted to his style some, you're fighting in Stuttgart. And while Barker may be peaking and may be a little bit more hungry at this point, Sturm knows that he has to make it at least look competitive if he's going to win the decision anyway. So it's up to Barker to try and stop Sturm, and that is easier said than done. What it points to is a very, very close fight with potentially a protected commodity in Sturm. If you don't know who's going to win, you stay out. So I wouldn't bet this one with your money. Stay away from Sturm. Stay away from him versus Barker, but enjoy the fight. It should be a really good fight with two top 10 middleweight contenders going head-to-head again this Saturday, December 7th. Hope you enjoy it. Christian Shreve, bestboxingbets.com. I'm Christian Shreve, and I'm here to tell you about why I think you should own my new book, Money Boxing, which is on sale now. Money Boxing has something for everyone, whether or not you know anything about boxing. You're about to receive a backstage pass into a world of glamour, corruption, and intrigue. And you're going to learn about the system, which is the only thing the casinos have had to fear in a long time. You can own Money Boxing by clicking on the link below now. I think you'll like it.